Collectors dream of moments like this, when a common coin turns out to be anything but. Today, we're uncovering Roosevelt dimes so rare, even seasoned experts do a double take. Make sure to watch till the end, you won't want to miss the incredible values these coins have reached. What if I told you that a simple dime from 1981 could be worth thousands of dollars? Sounds surprising, right? Today, we're going to take a closer look at a particular error on the 1981 Roosevelt dime, a small coin with a big story behind it. The Roosevelt dime has been part of everyday American life since 1946. It was introduced to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, not only for his leadership but also for his efforts to fight polio through the March of Dimes. Because of this, the dime became more than just change, it became a symbol of hope and progress. The design itself is classic and has remained almost the same since it was first introduced. On the front, there's Roosevelt's profile, facing left with calm confidence. On the back, you'll find a torch symbolizing liberty, flanked by olive and oak branches representing peace and strength. Most of the time, these coins are straightforward, no surprises, just everyday currency. But sometimes, things don't go exactly as planned at the mint. These unexpected moments create what collectors call error coins, which are coins with unusual features or mistakes that happened during production. Error coins have fascinated collectors for generations because they show the human side of coin production, proof that even in a highly controlled process, mistakes happen. Some errors are minor and barely noticeable, while others drastically change the coin's appearance. It's these variations that create a market of collectors eager to find the rarest examples. In 1981, several types of errors appeared on some Roosevelt dimes. The most notable one is called the double die error. This happens during the making of the die itself, the metal stamp used to press the design onto the coin. If the die is struck twice but slightly misaligned on the second strike, the resulting coins show a doubled image. On a 1981 Roosevelt dime with this error, the doubling is most visible in the word liberty and sometimes the date. Instead of clean, single letters and numbers, you see a slightly thicker or shadowed second image, almost like a ghost of the original. It's subtle but very distinct once you know what to look for. Other errors found in the 1981 dimes include off-center strikes. This happens when the blank metal piece isn't lined up correctly in the press, causing the design to be stamped off to one side. These coins look a bit odd, with part of the design cut off, but they're sought after by collectors for their rarity. Then there's the repatched mint mark error. Each coin has a mint mark, such as D for Denver or S for San Francisco, showing where it was made. Sometimes, these mint marks were stamped more than once in slightly different positions. This creates a doubled or shadowed effect on the letter, which collectors find interesting. What makes these errors valuable? It's a mix of rarity, how visible the error is, and the condition of the coin. Coins are graded on a scale that measures their wear and overall appearance. A coin in mint condition, meaning it looks almost brand new, will be worth more than one that's heavily worn. For 1981 Roosevelt dime errors, the value can be surprisingly high. Most regular 1981 dimes are just worth face value or a bit more. But error coins in good condition can attract strong interest from collectors and sometimes fetch prices far beyond what you'd expect. When searching for these errors, it helps to use a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe. Look closely at the letters in Liberty and the numbers in the date. If you see a shadow or doubling effect, that could be a sign of the double die error. Also, check the edge of the coin for off-center strikes or any unusual features. Another thing to keep in mind is provenance. Knowing where the coin came from and having it authenticated by a reputable grading service adds value and confidence to the buyer. Coins that are professionally graded and certified tend to sell for higher prices. Collecting coins like these can be both educational and rewarding. You learn about history, minting processes, and the little details that make each coin unique. And of course, there's the thrill of possibly finding something rare and valuable in your pocket change. It's worth mentioning that the 1981 dime errors aren't the only ones out there, but their rarity combined with the historical significance of the Roosevelt design makes them particularly desirable. Over time, These coins have gained attention at auctions and among serious collectors who understand their importance. In fact, one particular 1981 Roosevelt dime error recently made headlines. This coin, with a clear double die error and excellent grading, is valued at an astonishing $83,000. That's a big jump from a 10-cent coin to a five-figure collectible. It's a great example of how small mistakes at the mint can create rare and valuable pieces. So, if you have any 1981 Roosevelt dimes, take a careful look. You might be holding more than just change. Coin collecting is a hobby that brings together history, attention to detail, and sometimes a bit of luck. Whether you're a beginner or someone who's been collecting for years, finding an error coin can be an exciting discovery. And that's the story of the 1981 Roosevelt dime error, a small coin with a hidden twist that has made it a sought-after piece in the world of coin collecting. The next coin on our list might not look like much at first. It's small, silver in color, and just 10 cents in face value. You've probably handled hundreds of them without a second glance. But among those millions of 1997 Roosevelt dimes, there's one particular version from the Denver Mint, marked with a small d, that became the talk of the numismatic world. Yes, the 1997 D Roosevelt dime, a coin most people would overlook in their pocket change, turned out to be a rare find, and eventually, an incredibly valuable one. Let's take a moment to look at the bigger picture. By the 1990s, the Roosevelt dime had long been a fixture in American coinage. Introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, the coin's design stayed relatively unchanged for decades. On the obverse, his profile, bold yet calm. On the reverse, a torch flanked by olive and oak branches, symbols of liberty, peace, and strength. It was a coin that blended tradition and function. It worked in vending machines, parking meters, and cash registers, and most of the time, no one paid any special attention to it. But in rare cases, something unexpected happens during the minting process. A mistake so subtle, yet so significant, that it completely transforms the coin's status from ordinary to extraordinary. That's exactly what happened with this 1997 D Roosevelt dime. This particular error isn't your typical off-center strike or double die. It's far more rare and far less predictable. This Roosevelt dime was struck on the wrong planchet, meaning it was minted on a blank that wasn't intended for dimes at all. Instead, it may have been a planchet intended for a different U.S. coin, or even for a foreign coin, which the U.S. Mint occasionally helps produce. Now, the planchet is the blank metal disc that becomes a coin. Each denomination and type of coin has its own specifications: thickness, diameter, weight, and metal composition. For example, a standard dime should weigh 2.27 grams and measure 17.91 millimeters across. But when the wrong planchet gets used, everything changes. This kind of mint error results in a coin that might be slightly larger or smaller than expected. It might weigh differently. The rim may look thinner or thicker. The color could be slightly off, maybe duller or shinier than a typical dime. These small visual and physical cues are often what first catch a collector's attention. But how does something like this even happen? Well, despite the precision of modern minting technology, errors can still occur. Mints process thousands of coins per minute. In some cases, a blank planchet from another denomination or coin series can accidentally enter the press. If it's close enough in size to a dime, the machine might not detect the error, and the die will stamp the Roosevelt dime design onto a planchet that wasn't meant for it. The result? A coin that carries the correct design but is physically different from any regular dime in circulation. And because these types of errors are so rare, they're highly desirable to collectors. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. This particular error occurred at the Denver Mint, indicated by the small d mint mark on the obverse of the coin, just to the left of Roosevelt's neck. The Denver Mint is known for producing high volumes of coins with relatively few major mint errors. So when a significant error like this comes out of Denver, it's a big deal. This 1997 D Roosevelt dime wasn't immediately discovered. Like many rare coins, it sat unnoticed until someone with a sharp eye, and likely a scale, realized that something was off. That's why so many collectors today take the time to weigh coins, inspect their rims, and examine them under magnification. And if you're wondering, yes, it was verified. The coin was professionally examined, authenticated, and graded by a leading third-party service. That process confirmed that the dime was indeed struck on the wrong planchet, making it a legitimate mint error, not a post-mint alteration or damage. Coins like these rarely stay quiet for long. As soon as news of this piece hit the collecting community, interest surged. Collectors and dealers recognized how rare and well-preserved it was. It wasn't just an error, it was a perfect example of a rare minting event, and in nearly flawless condition. When it eventually reached auction, bidding was strong. Not just because of the error itself, but because of how well preserved the coin was, and how clearly it demonstrated the wrong planchet strike. This wasn't the kind of coin you see often. In fact, only a small handful of similar examples are even known to exist. And when the hammer finally dropped, the final sale price stunned even seasoned experts. This small silver dime, which originally cost just 10 cents, sold for $57,000. Yes, that's right, $57,000 for one dime. That's more than many people's annual salary. More than the cost of a new car. All because of a one-in-a-million error, caught by someone who knew exactly what to look for. So what's the lesson here? It's simple. Check your change. Look closely. Pay attention to the coins you might otherwise toss in a drawer or ignore in the bottom of your pocket. You don't need to be an expert to spot something unusual, you just need a little curiosity and a willingness to look closer. Who knows? The next valuable error might already be sitting in your hands. Moving on to the final coin in today's lineup, we're looking at a piece that's a bit more modern, but no less fascinating. This one proves that even relatively recent coins can hold incredible surprises. Say hello to the 2002 P. Roosevelt dime, a coin that, under rare circumstances, has fetched tens of thousands of dollars on the collector's market. Now, 2002 might not seem like a particularly remarkable year for coin production. There were no major design overhauls, no limited releases, and no widely publicized commemoratives tied to the dime that year. Just regular circulation coins being produced by the millions. But that's part of what makes this story so intriguing. Most people would look at a 2002 dime and assume it's nothing special, just another coin tossed into a pocket or left forgotten at the bottom of a drawer. But among those countless 2002 Roosevelt dimes minted at the Philadelphia Mint, as indicated by the small P mint mark on the obverse, there exists a rare few that tell a completely different story. These rare versions of the coin are the result of a striking error involving the wrong planchet. Now, let's unpack what that means. Every coin starts as a blank disc of metal, called a planchet. For a dime, the planchet is typically made from a copper core with a nickel outer layer, carefully cut to the exact dimensions, 17.91 mm in diameter and weighing about 2.27 grams. But in rare cases, a blank intended for another denomination, or even a foreign coin, can mistakenly be fed into the press. If that blank is close enough in size to a dime, it can pass through undetected and get stamped with the dime's design. That's exactly what happened with this 2002 P. Roosevelt dime. It was struck on a foreign or incorrect planchet, leading to a coin that looked familiar, but had subtle differences. It may have been slightly smaller or larger than usual. The color could have been off, either too pale or too dark. The edge might have looked strange, or the ridged edges might be missing entirely. From a distance, these coins look normal. But to someone paying attention, especially a seasoned collector, they raise questions. Why is the coin lighter than expected? Why doesn't it feel quite right in the hand? Why does the sound it makes when dropped on a hard surface seem different? These small questions lead to deeper inspection, and that's where discovery happens. The wrong planchet wasn't the only anomaly in this case. Some known examples of the 2002 P error dime also show signs of double striking or off-center strikes, adding even more uniqueness to an already rare error. These extra features only increase a coin's collectability and value. And it's not just what the error is, it's how rare it is. We're not talking about something you'll find in every handful of change. These coins are one in millions. So far, only a very small number of verified error dimes from 2002 have surfaced with these characteristics, making them highly sought after in the collector community. Once one of these coins was discovered and authenticated, it didn't take long before it caught the attention of high-end collectors. It was submitted to a respected grading service, where it received professional evaluation confirming it was indeed a wrong planchet error. From that point, the coin's fate was sealed. It was no longer pocket change, but a high-value collectible. When it finally went up for auction, the buzz around it was strong. Collectors knew exactly what they were looking at, a modern era coin in top condition, verified and certified, with a story behind it that's impossible to fake. Bidding was competitive, and the final price reflected just how rare and desirable this coin truly is. The coin sold for a remarkable $44,000. That's $44,000 for a 10-cent coin, 440,000% of its face value. It's a powerful reminder that coin collecting isn't only about age. While older coins can certainly be valuable, rarity and uniqueness often matter even more, and that's where modern mint errors like this 2002 P-Dime come into play. It also shows why everyday change is still worth checking. Even now, in the era of digital transactions and tap-to-pay convenience, physical coins are still full of hidden potential. Some of the most valuable finds have come from simple curiosity, someone noticing that something felt a little off, and taking the time to investigate further. If you want to check your own 2002 dimes, look for a few key signs. Check the weight with a digital scale. Inspect the edge. Are the ridges complete, or are they missing? Look at the metal color. Does it match other dimes, or does it seem off? Compare thickness and diameter with a standard dime. And if something doesn't add up, don't ignore it. That small inconsistency could be your clue to something valuable. Thanks so much for joining us today and exploring these incredible Roosevelt dimes. It's always exciting to see how something as small and familiar as a dime can hold such surprising stories, and even more surprising value. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and if you're new here, consider subscribing for more real coin facts, rare finds, and tips on what to look for in your own collection. Got a coin story or question? Drop it in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.